That's true.
Yeah. That's a good, like,
Clink.
it is a good clink.
Okay.
All right.
We are finally 21. We can now drink.
I wish I was 21 again. No, I don't. I don't.
Welcome
I
back,
really
everyone, to another episode. Why?
21-year-olds suck.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the podcast where we pull back the curtain and give you some insight on what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite bar and restaurant. We like to call that the industry perspective.
What's up, motherfuckers? That's it. I told you on the last episode.
So
That'll be my intro. That'll be my intro.
So speaking of being 21 now, since
Being
this
21
is
now.
our 21st episode,
Yeah.
I did say on the last one we were talking about like fake IDs, and I think that's a good way to start it. So, your experiences with getting fake IDs or knowing it's a fake ID or just that whole like you're underage,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be here. Like, how do you go about approaching that? What do you do in that situation? Because some people get bent out of shape when they're like, no, what the fuck, or give me my ID back and this and that. I feel like that's more of a security thing.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
like,
how did we have 2 episodes in a row in the exact same spot? It's almost like we record them back to back.
so
I was just gonna.
what do you?
I was gonna hold it the whole time.
What do you? How do you handle that? How do you approach that? And to put something more on top of that, how do you like if you have? Because I've had friends.
Oh, what you want to garnish it?
I want to garnish it.
All right, garnish
I
it.
want to garnish it.
Yeah.
I was hoping you wouldn't say a dirty joke and you didn't. So
I didn't.
Thank God. Because I've had friends that have come in underage, and I still serve them. And I'm not ashamed to admit that because that was a long time ago, and some of those places aren't
I'm
even
not
open
gonna
now.
lie. I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm also thinking of the dirty joke to myself, and I'm like,
do it.
dude,
Don't do it.
I'll save it for later.
Don't do it. So yeah.
So
Go ahead.
I will give my honest answer on that. As always, I've done the same thing. We all have.
Every bartender
Unfortunately.
that is 21, 22, and has underage
Unfortunately.
friends has served their underage friends.
We've had a friend who like literally was turning 21 in a month or two and worked there, and it's like, come on, man. Whenever I get off of my shift, I go to their house to drink. You know what I'm saying? Like come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know what it is. Let's be like that. And I've known managers who knew their employee wasn't 21 but was about to be, and was like, just don't fucking get drunk here. Just do not fucking get drunk here. Like, if you do, I will claim I never knew, and you won't be able to prove that they knew.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It's just one of those things. Like, it's like knowing that your coworker does a whole bunch of, and you just don't say anything. It's just like, hey, man, if that's what gets you through the shift, that's what gets you through the shift, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, fuck that. Like, I'm not judging anybody. Like, this job is hard.
Mhm.
This job is so fucking difficult. I will also say, though, in full hypocrisy, as we all are hypocrites about that. I've also been like, I know this motherfucker ain't 21 and you can't be here. Or maybe someone, it was like borderline, they could be, couldn't be, but they didn't have their real ID. Like, oh, I got a picture. And I'm like, you look too close. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Like, I have been the person who's been like, nah, you can't drink here. So I am a hypocrite. I'm not going to lie. I just had this happen a couple weeks ago. Someone came in and they handed me an ID that I knew was fake. I knew it was fake. And they also were a little fucked up. So I was like, not only is it fake, but you came in here fucked up. So you already know what's up, right?
Yeah.
So what I did is I acted like I was going to let them have a drink. And I just answered all of their questions in such a frustrating way that they eventually walked out. Like, dead ass, man. I was so annoying to them while they were trying to order that they just were like, okay, I'm just gonna leave. And I was like, yeah, you probably should.
So what did you do? You remember?
Oh, I remember the whole interaction.
All right.
And I had other people there that were watching it, and they were like, what was going on there? I was like, I had a question about their ID, and they didn't give me a good vibe. So I decided, instead of causing a scene, I'd incept them into thinking they didn't want to drink here. That's literally what I did.
Nice.
They were like, can I get a Hennessy and what did it say? Oh, can I get a Hennessy and mezcal? And I like looked at her. I'm like, what?
What?
No, Hennessy tequila.
Oh.
Yeah, because she was too young to know what mezcal even is. But I remember it was an agave spirit. She's like, can I get a whiskey and a tequila, or a Hennessy and a tequila? And I was like, wait, what? Like, do you want a Hennessy or a tequila? She's like, yeah. And I was like, no. And she's like, how much is that gonna be? I was like, for a Hennessy tequila? She's like, yeah. I was like, 40. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be 40. Said just like that. She was like, 40. I was like, yeah, $40. It's gonna be $40. And she was like, nah, that's too much. That's too much. And I was like, well, do you want a Hennessy or a tequila? And she's like, yes. And I was like, nah, you gotta tell me which one. Anyway, fast forward. This goes on for like a solid minute and a half, to where other people are looking at us, and she's like, I don't understand what's going on. I was like, all I'm telling you to do is pick a spirit. And she's like, pick a spirit? Are we in church? I was like, no, I need you to pick a spirit. And she's like, pick a spirit? I just wanted a Hennessy tequila. And I was like, yeah, I need you to pick one. Yeah, a Hennessy tequila. I'm like, no, pick one, because you said you didn't want to pay 40.
Oh,
and then eventually she was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave. I was like, yeah, that's probably for the best.
Oh,
and then she left. Yeah. Yeah. And the guests that were with me, like, they said they were going to listen to the pod. So maybe they're listening and they know the story.
Oh, you said this
like,
was recent.
This was recent.
Oh.
This was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
This was 2
That's
weeks
even
ago.
Funnier.
And I had like, there were like 2 people on her left and like 3 people on her right. And the 3 people on her right, they were like really dope. They were the ones making the joke where they came in and sat down and they did the ho joke. Like they made a joke that they knew I'd already heard 50 times, and then immediately said, I bet we're not the first people to tell you that. And I was like, how did you know? And they're like, cause that's a really annoying fucking thing. And I was like, are you bartenders? They were like, nah, but we hear the same shit. Yeah. So we try to make fun of that. And I was like, yo, you're my kind of people.
That's dope.
I got this pod with my brother. Y'all should check this out. And yeah, they said they were listening. So if you are listening, shout out to you. I still remember you. I will probably never forget you, because yeah, that was really funny. Like they were there. They saw the whole fucking thing. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Oh God.
What was the other thing you had wanted to talk about with the fake IDs?
Like, have you ever had to take one, commandeer it, or anything like that?
The only time I was like really put in a position where it was like awkward, where they gave me a fake ID and it was like, oh, you're supposed to take it. There was one place I worked at and they were like, oh, if you see a fake ID, immediately give it to a manager. And I like looked at it and I was like, I mean, this is fake, but I don't feel like going to go find a fucking manager. And then they were just kind of looking at me and I just handed it back to them. And I was like, all right, this is fake. So, but that venue had 2 bars. So they went to the other side of the venue to the other bar and tried it over there, and the ID got confiscated. And I was like, you fucking stupid. That's what you get.
You idiot. You should just went somewhere else.
Just try another venue. Like, don't try another bartender.
That's fucking dumb. That's so stupid.
That's like you holla at somebody and they say no, and you step over to their friend like, hey, so can I take you out? It's like, that's probably not going to fucking work, man. I admire your balls. But yeah, just don't do that.
I don't think I would ever take somebody's ID either. I just give it back to them like,
hey, man,
it's not that serious for me. Just try somewhere else, not here. Sorry.
Yeah, you should take that and take it with you.
I don't have that mentality of a power trip. Like, oh, this is mine now. You're not gonna go anywhere else and drink it. Go somewhere else and try it. If it works over there, good for you.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know. It's not my responsibility.
Yeah, I'm an adult. I've always said that. Like, I don't get paid enough for that. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I get paid to do certain things.
I do not need to confirm your identity or this, that, and the third.
With that, but just in general. Like, we always talk about, like, you know, you're being hired to do a job. Mm-hmm. And every once in a while, you're going to be asked to do things that are, like, outside of the purview of what you're normally supposed to do. I understand, you know, that especially in our industry, you need to be cross-trained on things in case someone has a call in sick or there's, you know, something bad that happens, or they just went out and partied too hard the night before, whatever. Like, we have to be adaptable. I get all of that. But at the end of the day, I think that, as I've always said, and I can't wait to have a manager up here to talk about this, but I believe that it's on the manager to create an environment that if you're going to have people cross-trained in different things, they're cross-trained in a matter that they feel comfortable with. Like, hey, I know how to do this in case no one else can do it that day. Not, I know how to do this, so you want to make it a part of my job on top of all of my other responsibilities. It's like, case in point for, and this has been happening a lot lately, bars that want to double over as coffee shops. Pick one, please. Don't be both. You're better than that. I'm sorry. You're hiring bartenders, not baristas. Bartenders. Okay? I'm not working at a Starbucks. If I wanted to work at Starbucks, I would work at a Starbucks. If I wanted to work at a coffee shop, I would work at a fucking coffee shop.
Yeah.
So if you are going to put an espresso or coffee machine or anything like that, and I know I'm going to lose some people here because some of you are going to be like, why are you putting it on me? Honestly, if it's going to happen, it should be on you. And I'm biased in saying this, but make the servers do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. The only reason why I'm going to say make the servers do it is because something like that, something like coffee, can be a high volume item on its own. You don't want to add that to the volume of a bar and then have your bartender have to stop between making a cocktail and making a fucking
and
frappuccino.
Brewing some fucking, latte,
right,
macchiato, whatever the fuck.
Those things, shout out to
latte.
baristas who know what the fuck they're doing. This is not me saying that a bartender is better than one.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Please.
Yeah.
Yo, the stuff that y'all can fucking do, shout out to y'all. I can't do that
like
shit.
Coffee and being a barista, that's a whole nother league. That's a whole different, that's a different ballpark.
Real. Coffee is a whole other world.
It is.
It is. And those who know me, you know how I feel about coffee. I'm not into it. I started a clothing line based off of not being into coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you have a clothing line
called
called So Coffee.
Yeah.
My online handle is Douglas Coffee.
And we don't like coffee. We hate coffee. The most ironic duo in history. Like, coffee all over their fucking names, and neither one of them drink
I don't drink coffee.
Yo, I make a mean espresso martini, though. I'll tell you that right now.
And
Real talk.
that's where
Real
I
talk.
think those two worlds should stop at.
Yes.
Is the espresso martini. Something that should be either the espresso should be pre-made, pre-batch, whatever, done before the shift, before this and that. And just that's where the bartender stops at handling coffee is espresso or the espresso martini.
Yeah.
That's it. You shouldn't have your bartenders be baristas. It's just because, like, me personally, I don't know shit about making coffee. Like,
you don't ask your plumber to do your electricity.
No, you don't.
Sorry.
Yeah,
even if they're in the same union,
in the house, like
even if they're in the same union, you don't ask them.
Like, it could be in the same building, same house, whatever, but that's not their that's not the area of expertise. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the inner workings of the house building, but that's a whole different thing. I like that.
Seriously, man. Like you hired someone to do a job, let them do that job because that's what they're comfortable doing. A lot of times there's this stigma thrown around, like someone working one position and not wanting to do another, but it's really because that person doesn't feel comfortable doing it. I'm a terrible fucking server. I'm one of the worst servers I have ever seen in my entire fucking life, and I've seen some bad ones, and I'm worse than them.
Pretty bad.
Without a doubt, I'm bad. Okay? I love watching a good server do what they do. Like, seriously, because I know I could never. I could never.
I can't carry a tray of drinks like that.
No.
Too clumsy.
Yo.
And we talked about this when Aaron was here.
I drink too much.
I just have shaky hands.
Straight up. I drink too much to be carrying trays, yo.
I'll forget
really
about
do.
people at a table. If you're not in front of me, I'm not gonna go check on you.
I don't
want to go to your table and fill your water.
I am
fill
a
the
bull
water
in
right
a
in front of
china
me.
shop. I'm a bull in a china shop. Like, no, let me be a bull in a fucking arena. Don't put me in a china shop. I'm sorry. I'm gonna break some shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good for us or our insurance rates. Like, just let me do the job that you hired me to do, man.
Yeah,
And
stop having your bartenders make coffee. That's not okay.
stop having them make coffee. Stop having any one particular person at your venue having to do everything. Again, it's one thing to be trained on it in an emergency.
Yeah.
Because an emergency means, hey, we got to get through this shift because such and such couldn't make it. Our server couldn't make it today. And it's a 2-person team on like a Monday or Tuesday afternoon for lunch, not lunch, but like a low volume place. You only need a server and a bartender for that particular time.
Yeah.
Well, if the server calls in and the bartender is like, oh, I can make, espresso shots or something like that. Like, hey, we don't have a normal person. I'm sorry, but managers, it's okay to be able to tell a guest we can't make that today. McDonald's ice cream machine ain't been working in 30 fucking years, and they're doing okay.
And they're okay.
Either we can make it or we can't make it today.
Yeah.
Like, which one do you want? Do you want it made shitty and now I'm upset and looking for another job because you don't show me the same respect that I'm trying to show this venue by telling you I'm not good at that. Please don't force me to do it. Like, that shit needs to stop, bro. Like, dead ass.
It's frustrating.
If your employee is signed on for this, have them do that. And if they're not doing a good job of that, get rid of them and get someone else who can. But stop trying to hire people and then force them to do other jobs. And then you put the onus on them to say, like, oh, well, you don't want it enough, or that our culture here is that, everyone helps. Yeah, everyone helps within the frame of what they can do.
Yeah.
Don't keep putting it on me to keep helping your business stay afloat because you don't want to run it correctly or you don't want to hire the right people. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm like so sick of hearing all of our peers that work either here or there or somewhere else. And I'm not pointing out any particular place. Like, for anyone who thinks that I have any animus towards any job that I've ever had, like, no, I might talk shit about you, but we all talk. It's like talking about an ex. You're going to talk shit about that place. Y'all ain't together no more. Yeah, I might still fuck it every once in a while, but, we ain't together no more. That's how you look at an old venue. In fact, going to a venue you used to work at is a booty call. That is a booty call. Because you're like, you know what? I need something, and this is the only place that's going to give it to me. I need someone who knows what I want just for tonight. And then your damn ass goes in there, and your coworkers are still there that you like. Oh, you should come back. You like, maybe I should come back. I heard they changed a little bit around here. You know what I mean? And then you go back, and you're like, man, they still doing the same shit.
That is the best analogy.
But for real, like, honestly, straight up,
that
managers.
Is the best analogy on this.
Managers, get on your shit. Stop making your people do shit that they didn't sign on to do, and stop trying to make them feel guilty for not wanting to do a job that they didn't ask to do. Hire someone to do that job.
Yeah.
Rant over. Sorry.
Ooh, shit. Wish I had the bell so I could just ding, 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 ding.
Yo,
Too bad I don't have that bell.
Man, I'm so. Oh.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. Just to piggyback and say, like, yeah, I don't like coffee. Funny thing is that when
the moral of the story is
moral of the story. No, but when I was working my desk job, I tried to convince myself that I liked coffee.
Yeah,
because I would drink it, whatever, this and that. And I would go to like Dutch Bros and shit, grab a coffee, and I used to convince myself that I liked it, but I really didn't, because I would have to like put it with this and that, and it's like, fuck, dude, or like just drink coffee black just straight up just to like wake up, and it's like, dude, this is disgusting. I don't like it, and I had to convince myself that I liked it for the longest time. But now I'm like, yeah, no, I don't like coffee. I don't really like it unless it's like loaded up with sugar, and I don't want all that sugar. So
coffee is the AMF for people who have morning jobs.
Yeah.
Right. I need my coffee. Don't talk to me until I have my coffee. Those are the people that come to a bar and like, yo, let me get an AMF. I'm trying to get fucked up as fast as possible. Like, coffee's the AMF.
You were audited today.
Yo.
You were audited today with the analogies,
I guess so,
and everything. God damn.
Yo, but it feels like that. For the people who want coffee, I mean, an espresso martini is the Long Island. It's the more sophisticated version. Like, oh, I want to get fucked up and I want my caffeine. Like,
yeah.
Okay. You're on uppers. I'm on uppers and downers. You know what I'm saying?
Same time.
Like,
fuck it. Where's my body going? I don't fucking know.
If you get an AMF, you're getting fucking nothing but sugar and liquor, which is a depressant. So you're on uppers and downers.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. That's why you see people getting a classic cocktail, because they're like, I'm just trying to chill, bro. You know, to me, a traditional cocktail is a nice fucking joint or a nice blunt. Like, you're just trying to take your time with that shit. You're not trying to rush through it. You're trying to chill. You want to taste it. You're trying to have a good conversation with the people who you with. You know what I mean? Venting about shit, like whatever you want to talk about. Like a nice classic cocktail. When you see, like, I see business deals. They're not drinking AMFs.
No.
You know what I mean? There's no real money changing hands
Hell
over
no.
a Long Island iced tea or a lemon drop.
They're exchanging money over fucking Long Island's,
Yo,
AMFs, fucking Irish dumpsters, whatever the fuck you see.
That shit is like, yo, what are you doing later?
Yeah.
That's what those cocktails are. If I see someone drinking a blue cocktail, I know they're just trying to fuck. And then I ask them, what are you doing later? It's usually not you.
So let me ask you, when you're behind the bar, what's your go-to? Because I already asked you in front of the bar, like, what's your go-to when you go behind the bar? What are your give me your top three. Like, if somebody's like, hey, just give me something. I don't care what it is.
So I will say the way that I like to do it is when someone comes up to me and they say, I don't know what I want, or I'm not really a drinker or whatever. My first question is, well, what do you normally like? Like, what's your profile? Like, if someone asked you what your flavor profile was, like, what is that? Tell me. Do you want sweet? You want bitter? You want sour? You want savory? You want just straight alcohol? You want more?
But what about, let me stop you. What about the people just like, I don't care. Surprise me. Just put something in front of me. I don't care what it is.
Exactly. But I have that happen all day, every day, which is why I take them to, I'm going to walk you to whichever road you want to go to, and we're going to walk down it together.
But what about the person that just
doesn't care? But that's part of the journey for me.
Okay.
Because I know that I could have a series of go-tos, but that doesn't mean it's going to get you where you want to be. So even if you say to me, like, I have no idea what I want about anything, my questions are going to keep probing until I find something. If you're going to force me to create you, then I'm going to create you. Okay. But it's going to be with your help. So I say all that to say that I have several go-tos for every spirit.
Okay.
And a lot of times, one of the things that I love to do, which is fun as fuck, which is why, like, the last episode I talked about Drink Masters and everything, because some of the things that I like to do is, what can I come up with that I've never fucking heard of with these flavors based on the conversation I just had, or something that I've been dying to try out. So
that's how you know he's a great bartender, because he didn't give me a straight answer, because he's going through all this shit and then this is what he does on a regular basis. He goes on the point and he finds like a side quest. He's like, I could do this real quick, and then kind of wraps around. It's like, I could do that one too. Yeah, he does this on a regular basis. But that's how you know he's a great fucking bartender.
I'm a good bartender because I'm full of shit.
Because he's not giving me a straight answer.
I am so full of shit.
That's how you know. That's how you know, because he couldn't just give me three things. He's like, well, I have one for gin, for tequila, for
I try to have one for every spirit. I try to have a couple gins. Yeah. I try to have a couple tequilas. I have some for Blanco. I have some for Reposado. I try to have some for mezcals. And I'm also thinking about, well, how smoky is the drink? Like, do they want it to be smoky? Then that means I need to take it over here. If they want it to be something where they haven't had mezcal before and they just want to experiment with it, then let me find out some more questions. Let's do rum, but usually rum drinkers, they want something sweet. Yeah. So when someone's like, oh, I want something sweet, I don't care what you put in front of me. I'm like, well, I'm about to fuck you up with a nice rum cocktail. Or I have a couple that I've done that have rum and mezcal, which really fucks people up, because they're like, I don't know what this is, and I've seen some people that can just do some amazing things with cocktails. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I first got into the game, like full, I remember someone asking me, well, what's your go-to? Every bartender has to have one. And I was like, but if I had a go-to, then I'm never going to progress. And he kind of looked
like
at me.
That.
He's like, I've never heard that before.
I like
and
that.
I'm not saying that as cap, like trying to up myself. Like this was like 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. But that was part of what was in my mind when he asked me that. I was like, I kind of feel like if I have just a go-to, I'm a 1-trick pony or a 3-trick pony. And he was like, I kind of like that. Like he was judging me because he was like, if I hear a bartender that only has like 2 or 3 drinks, you're not a bartender, you're a trained puppet. I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to be that.
Like, because I got my top 3 top 5.
Yeah.
Call me fucking Pinocchio. Where's Geppetto?
I mean, and I've also never been the person who judges anyone for having set cocktails, because there are times where I've run into a bartender or a server who used to bartend or whatever, and they'll give me a go-to, and they're like, I make this no matter what, or I suggest this no matter what, and it'll be something I haven't heard of, and I'll try. I'm like, oh, this is amazing, and I just add it to the list. You know, like I might not remember every recipe up here, but I remember flavors. You know, like I remember how these particular flavors may mix together, and what kind of journey can I go on with those. You know, I feel like
I think that answers the question enough.
Yeah,
because like
you already had my answer, and then I beat you over. With
yeah. No, you just
well, you said
I
had
wasn't the answer
answering
like 5 minutes ago.
Well, you said I didn't answer you, and I was like, well, I'm gonna answer this motherfucking.
I had the answer 5 minutes ago, but okay, that's fair.
You know what that reminds me of though?
What?
I mean, as if I haven't talked enough. It reminds me of I worked this event. I mentioned on the last one. And the entire time people would come up to me and they'd be like, yo, can I get a vodka Red Bull? And I'm like, oh, you in full typewriter mode, huh? Full typewriter. All right, that's what we doing. And then they'll be like, vodka Red Bull. I'm like, yeah, I'm already making it. It's like they talk. That's the resetting of the typewriter. Like Kermit. Like all I can think of is Kermit on the computer, because that's what it feels like when you're working a festival or you're working a club and someone comes up. I've worked an after party before.
Oh, fuck.
People come up and they are so candied out, and like they'll be talking to me, and like the moment they stop talking, their jaw keeps going, and I'm like,
there's no words coming out. What's
you're not talking anymore, bro. Like your order was over a minute ago. like, bro, you okay over there? So I didn't mean to typewriter you. My bad, man. My bad.
That was a good one. Fuck, I don't even know where I was gonna go with that.
It's yet another thing that we have to deal with and act like we're not dealing with.
Yeah,
that's all.
Fuck, I don't even know where I was gonna go with that. I mean, I have my go-tos. You already know what my number one go-to is, and I haven't had any disappointments yet with that one. So let's stick with it.
I remember when you were
Call me Pinocchio.
When you were reteaching yourself how to make it, and I was sitting in the living room watching you, and I was like, watching your face, and you're like, nah, that ain't it yet. Then you make another one, you're like, I'm getting there. You make another one, you're like, that's it. And then you made like 5 more that night, and I was like, oh, these are celebratory drinks right here. He's like, oh, I got this shit, yo. Yeah. I got it. Like, but like that to me is the sign of a bartender or whoever that enjoys what they do. Mm-hmm. Because if you know the old adage, like if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
But I tend to think that you're still gonna fucking work. Mm-hmm. I love what I do. Yeah. Like as I've said before,
like this is still work, but
this is still work. That's what I was getting at, like wholeheartedly. This that we're doing here, and a slight segue on this. I'm sorry, but like I know that we've talked about having guests, and we love having guests. And as we talked about in the last episode, we're in busy season. Like we're in that time of the year where people's schedules are all over the place. Yep. Our schedule is all over the place. Like it's actually hard sometimes to get in here and record. So in the interest of that, we've kind of like hung back on inviting guests the last couple episodes, as I'm sure you've seen the last few weeks. It's just been us, which is great. I mean,
yeah,
our fucking energy is great, but we prefer having a guest mostly because it's not just two jackasses talking on camera. We love what we do, but we also want to get some other input as well. So you will be seeing guests again. I'm hoping that the next 2 episodes will have guests. I'm still working with them to, get their schedules together and everything like that. So we'll be back to having you hear from people other than just us really soon.
Because you're hearing enough from us.
Yeah, so. But also thank you guys for being a part of it as long as you have.
Between me hating and him going on tangents.
and the tangents and everything. We really appreciate everyone's support and their patience with everything that we're trying to build. I went off on a segue and I forgot.
You did it again.
I forgot.
See what I mean?
You
see what I mean? You were talking about me making the cocktail and then saying how yeah. And then how like that was somebody who's like, if you enjoy what you do,
that was me trying to remember where I was so I didn't repeat myself. Because I'm not typewriting right now. I was like, I don't want to repeat the same thing. They've already fucking heard it. My point is just that I personally believe that if you love what you do, you can do it in a way where you're not thinking about it, which is the same way we're doing this podcast. I'm sure for those of you who remember when we first started, audio only.
Yeah. Now we're here.
Yeah. So many growing pains, and even video. Shit, the first 2 episodes. Bruh, you know what I mean? But making cocktails is the same way. Serving a table, bussing a table, cooking the food, managing a venue, they're the same ways. If you love what you do and where you're doing it, you're not thinking about what it is that you're doing. So you can bartend, serve, manage, whatever, just freely. And I love seeing when people are able to do that. The reason why I brought it up as far as what you were doing is, what I always say was taught to me. Like, this isn't me just saying, like, what do I always say? Like, this was taught to me. If you do it enough times to the point where it gets to muscle memory, the bartending part is the easy part.
Yeah.
The serving part is the easy part. You know what I mean? That's the stuff you do, like working in an assembly line. But the fun you can have with the guests, with your peers and everything like that, that's the joy. So when you see someone like, and they have a go-to, it's not that they're being lazy. They're just like, I'm doing this because I know I can do this so well that even if it's not the best one you've had, there's a strong chance that you're going to say that it is. You're at
least going to enjoy it. For this moment in time, you're going to enjoy it. And you're going to tell me and give me that compliment and be like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. It was a long way to get there.
I know.
It was a long way to get there. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody going on that journey with me, but I treat my stories like a cocktail, man. We're going to end up over here, but I'm going to take you a long way to get there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I don't want to name drop, but I feel like I have to.
Unless it's positive. So
we talked about this on an episode previously about gimmicky cocktails, and then we talked about Bar Rescue and stuff. But there's another group or person or page that does gimmicky things, and they're entertaining. So I'll say that I'm gonna make it like a double-sided thing. Like, they're entertaining, and this goes along with what was said, I think, 2-3 episodes ago, where it's like they saw it on a TikTok or whatever it is. So it's like, oh, I want to order that. So some of you guys may know Tipsy Bartender. A lot of people are familiar with it. If you don't know already, they've been around for a long time, and they make some really interesting cocktails.
Yeah,
but it's not. A lot of them aren't something you can order at a bar because of how long-winded and drawn out the process.
They're very extravagant cocktails.
Yeah. I mean, they're cool to look at, whatever, but I would never want to make something. If somebody asked for something like that, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? They made something recently with dry ice, and if you hopefully you know not to touch dry ice. So hopefully you should know not to drink something with dry ice in it. If there's no way of knowing if it's actually truly melted, dissolved, and gone.
Yeah.
You do that, you're gonna fucking die. So with that being said, I think this whole trend that's been happening the last 5-10 years maybe of like dry ice cocktails, like that shit needs to go away because somebody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna get sued. Like dry ice does not belong in cocktails. It looks cool, whatever the smoke, but
it does.
There's a reason why you can't touch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And
it could kill you
if
you ingest it. It really can.
So and, it's for the businesses, for the bartenders, people out there that want to do that to make it look cool.
Yeah,
you're playing a dangerous fucking game.
Yeah, because you're going more towards the pageantry than making a good safe cocktail. Yeah,
like it's not worth the acrobatics of it all, or just like the flight. Like just don't do it. You don't want that. You don't want that on your conscience. You just don't do it. Dry ice does not belong in cocktails. I'm sorry. But use
it doesn't.
Smoke guns, whatever else. If you want to get that effect, just stop with dry ice. That shit's gotta go.
Yeah, it really does, man. I don't want to see anyone getting hurt or worse from a cocktail, especially seeing the ones online where, but like fire or something is involved and someone gets burned because someone wasn't paying attention. Like,
do you mean the people that take shots that are still on fire?
Not just that. Okay. I've seen a video where part of the presentation was to set things on fire around the shot or at the table, and they miscalculated just a little bit, and the liquid got on the person sitting at the table. So when they lit the thing on fire, the fire then spread to them, and then they were trying to get the fire off of them, and then it ended up going into their face. Then they had to like beat the shit out of the person to get the fire off of them. I was like,
I don't mean to laugh.
Yo, I don't mean to laugh either, but like at the same time, why if I find out while sitting, especially at some bar in the middle of nowhere where it's not regulated, if I'm sitting at a bar and I see someone getting a drink that has some grandiose look at me thing, I'm immediately like, yo, I don't want that. Tell me what that is so I don't order it on accident. I don't want anything that has any kind of pageantry. Give me my cocktail and then let me drink it. Now, if it's involving smoke or fire in a sense where it adds to the cocktail, typically the bartender will do that in the safe space of the bar. And a lot of times the most that I've seen as far as pageantry is bringing out a smoked cocktail where it's still encased and the smoke is still absorbing into the glass and into the actual cocktail itself. That's what's adding to it. It's there for a reason. I can deal with that. But don't just bring me a shot of fucking Casamigos that you light on fire. And you got to end up slapping the shit out of me after. They probably already do, but they don't need us anyway. They're going to make their money.
George Clooney's not going to fuck with us at all.
Yeah. You know what? I still fuck with his movies. And it's a genius business model, man. Like I've said before, we're not shitting on any brand or any venue. It's just like, it's not what I would order. Again, it's made for people who don't like the taste of alcohol. It just is what it is.
That's fair.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. If you want to, make a pretty cocktail, or especially if you're like, I need something that is going to catch someone's eye or something like that. I've had a lot of people that say that garnishing a cocktail is very important, and it is. It really is. Like, how do you feel about garnishing cocktails?
Fuck, man. I'm kind of mixed about it. Okay. I think,
actually, I guess I need to pour a little bit more.
I guess it really just depends. Like, for me, if I order something, I don't care about the garnish. Just give me the drink. I had posted this, I think, on the Instagram and made a poll about it to see what people thought. And I think the majority is like, just give me my drink. And everybody that answered the poll was all service industry. So I think for a lot of us service industry workers, we're just like, just give us the drink. We don't really care. We see it 100 times. We don't really care. Like, it's cool. Personally, just give me the drink. I don't need the garnish. Unless there's like, like candy, sour worms on it or something like that. I'll take that. But if it's just like,
I wouldn't take that.
I will. But like, if it's like this whole grand, like super crazy lemon twist wrapped around like olive, it's like, I don't need that. Just give me the drink. Unless it adds to the cocktail in some way, I don't need it.
Yeah, which there are a lot of garnishes that do.
But presenting it,
yeah,
I do like to garnish. I like to make sure my lemon twists, all that are nice, neat, or however in some way where people look at it like, that looks classy. I want to take a picture of that. So I don't mind making it and presenting it as far as like receiving
well,
it.
that's why I was saying it's important, you know, because a lot of times for a lot of people, seeing the garnish on a drink just makes it look prettier or makes it more presentable, or
I'll also not
whatever.
Stop a bartender from doing it. I won't be like, hey, don't, like, if that's your thing, because I'm thinking the same way, like I want to do it, go for it. I'm not gonna knock you for it. Personally, I don't care if I get a garnish or not.
Yeah, I mean, I
Except
used to feel that
unless
way.
it's an old fashioned, give me the cherry. I want the cherry.
I don't want a cherry in my old fashioned, actually. I'm a pre-prohibition guy. I don't want a cherry. Keep your cherries away from my old fashioned. Doesn't need it. Barely needs any sugar. Like, you know, yeah. I just need my bourbon, a little bit of sugar, and some Ango. I don't need much else.
Talk about that one video of the oh, I don't think I ever showed you. This one chick made an old fashioned.
Is that the one unhinged video, the one in the red dress?
I think so.
Yeah,
she's like putting.
Yeah, it's been circulating.
Right, never mind.
I had wanted to bring that up until the Taffer video came up a couple weeks ago with the old fashioned, which I was like, this is the most unhinged video since the last one. And personally, I felt like maybe he did that to be like, I ain't gonna let that bitch one up me. Like, I'm gonna one up her, you know. Like, maybe. You never know. You know, he seems like he might be I don't want to say he seems like he might be, so I apologize if I was about to say that, but the persona that's portrays him to be the type of person who would be petty enough to be like, I'm going to make the craziest, you know, what the fuck were they doing video of all time. Like, oh, my bad. But it just felt like he was trying to one up her. You know, the main reason, like, I was wanting to bring this up with the garnishing of a cocktail is because, like, me personally, at first I didn't care about it. And a lot of that is because I worked at places where our garnishes were
lemon wedge, lime.
Lemon and lime wedge, orange half wheel, and cherries, and some olives. You know, I've worked in a lot of bars where that was just it. Those are the garnishes. And then I've worked at a lot of bars as well where it's like cucumber and dried dehydrated limes and flowers, like edible flowers and all this other stuff. Like, I started seeing, you know, rosemary and, like, especially like the rosemary on fire and stuff like that. Like,
it makes a difference.
Like, people really, like, put the energy into garnishing the cocktail and how the garnish can finish the journey. It's like you can start the journey, but, like, say you finish the journey without the garnish, it's like, yeah, you got there, but the person who was intending for you to have it intended for the garnish to be the thing that got you at the end. And, like, to me, I just started thinking of garnishing the drinks was like, it's the money shot.
Back to the money shot.
It's the money shot.
Oh,
if I don't garnish my drinks, how do you know it's done? I've had people take a drink like while I'm making it and they reach over and grab it. I'm like, I'm not done, homie. Like, I still got something I got to put all over the face of this. Y'all got to know that I'm done with this, bro. You got to know. And the only way you know is if I garnish it. So let me get that money shot. Let me have this.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? If I'm going to go through the problems of fucking this cocktail, you got to let me money shot this one at the end, yo. You have to.
Oh,
so
fuck.
Garnishes, they're important.
Yeah.
Garnish your cocktails.
Okay.
Garnish your cocktails.
That was great. Before we wrap this up.
Okay.
I meant to do this on the last episode.
Okay.
A milestone episode.
All right, let's wrap it up, B. Yeah.
Talking about money shots, wrapping it up. That was what did it for you? That was it?
Because if you wrap it up, there's no good money shot.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what I wanted to say was to close it here.
Yep. If you close it, there's no good money shot.
Since I meant to do it on the 20th episode, but I just want to say, like, appreciate y'all for helping us get to this milestone.
Yo, we have a lot coming.
Is great.
Yeah.
But also I want to say, you, man, like, you talk a lot to me about how if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't be here, this and that. But honestly, man, like this, a lot of this is you, and I want you to know that I am glad that you have me here with you, and I'm glad that you came up with this idea and you brought me along with it, and you share what's the word? You share share the credit with me. But really, man, like we really wouldn't be here without you. Like, and I just take the flowers, just take the fucking flowers.
I'll take them.
So I just want to say I appreciate you.
Thanks,
and
brother.
If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for you, I'm just here just to.
Hey, well, you remember?
I'm gonna ride along with you.
All right, we gotta go, but I just want to say this, so you know, just to finish the fellation. There was one time you had said like, "Yo, if I hadn't been here for this part, yeah, you still would have got this part done, but it's easier having me here." So, hey,
you can't just give me this. I gave you the bouquet.
Nah,
you gave me one flower.
I can give you a single rose.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, man.
Thank you guys.
Thank y'all guys as well.
Mm.
Right on the